The box sat on the dining table, wrapped in sleek silver paper with a little bow on top. My husband, Daniel, stood across from me, smiling in a way that felt almost rehearsed. "Go ahead," he urged, his voice tinged with excitement. I tore the wrapping slowly, revealing the latest laptop model, the very one I had been eyeing for months but never dared to buy. My heart warmed for a moment. It felt thoughtful, attentive, almost perfect. But the warmth evaporated the second I powered it on. Within minutes of setup, something appeared on the desktop that didn't belong, a folder labeled, "For You." At first, I thought it was sweet. Maybe love letters, old photos of us. But curiosity turned into horror when I opened it. My breath caught in my throat. Inside were hundreds of files, photos, screenshots, videos, each one showing private messages Daniel had been exchanging with another woman. Some were intimate, explicit, others dripping with plans for a future that didn't include me. My hands trembled. My blood ran cold. It wasn't just a mistake, it was a collection carefully kept, deliberately placed, almost as if he wanted me to see it. I slammed the laptop shut, my heart racing. "Daniel," I whispered, my voice shaking, "what is this?" He didn't flinch. Instead, he exhaled deeply, like a man relieved to let go of a heavy secret. "I thought you should know," he said. "I'm not happy anymore." The words sliced through me. This was the man who had once promised me forever, who had held my hand when I was sick, who had kissed my forehead every night before bed. And now, standing so casually in front of me, he was admitting that not only had he betrayed me, but he had packaged his betrayal like a gift. For days, I lived in a haze of disbelief. I replayed every moment of our marriage, every fight, every silence, every smile. Had it all been fake? Or had he changed along the way, leaving me clinging to the ghost of a man who no longer existed? I wanted to scream, cry, throw the laptop across the room. But instead, I stayed quiet, numb, because somewhere deep down, a voice inside me told me I needed to see this through. Late one night, unable to sleep, I opened the laptop again. This time, I dug deeper. Buried in those files were not just conversations with her, but bank statements, secret trips, receipts for gifts I never received. The betrayal wasn't only emotional, it was financial. He had been building another life while I was working late shifts, cooking dinners, and keeping our home together. My marriage hadn't just cracked, it had collapsed, and I was standing in the ruins. When I confronted him again, the mask slipped. He grew angry, defensive. "You were always too busy for me," he spat. "Too focused on your work, your friends, everything but me." She made me feel wanted. The blame shifted onto me, as though my love, my effort, my sacrifices had never been enough. I realized then that this wasn't just infidelity, it was cowardice. The hardest part was telling my parents. My mother cried silently, her hand gripping mine as if she could take away the pain. My father, usually calm and measured, clenched his jaw so tightly I thought he might break his teeth. Friends offered comfort, but I could see the pity in their eyes. I hated it. I didn't want to be pitied. I wanted to be respected. So, I made a choice. I filed for divorce. It wasn't easy. Daniel begged, threatened, manipulated, even cried. He promised it had meant nothing, that the other woman was gone, that we could start over. But every time I looked at that laptop, I remembered the chilling folder labeled, "For You." It wasn't just betrayal, it was cruelty, almost theatrical. And I couldn't live with that. The months that followed were brutal. Nights alone felt endless, and the silence of the house mocked me. But slowly, I began to rebuild. I started journaling, pouring my pain onto paper instead of letting it consume me. I reconnected with friends I had neglected, found laughter in places I thought I had lost forever. I even took a solo trip, something I had always been too scared to do. And then, something unexpected happened. I discovered a strength I never knew I had. The woman who once believed she couldn't live without Daniel was now thriving without him. I wasn't just surviving, I was living, truly living, maybe for the first time in years. One evening, I sat with that same laptop, the one that had once broken my heart. I deleted every file, every poisonous memory, and replaced them with new ones, pictures of sunsets, journal entries, plans for my future. I reclaimed it, just as I reclaimed my life. Looking back now, I realize that what Daniel did was devastating, yes, but it was also liberating. His betrayal forced me to confront my fears, to break free from a love that had already died, to build a life on my own terms. So, to anyone listening, to anyone standing at the edge of heartbreak wondering if they'll ever recover, I promise you this, you will. Your pain can be the fire that forges your strength. Don't let someone else's betrayal define your worth. You are more than the wounds they leave behind. Because sometimes, the gift you never wanted, the one that makes your blood run cold, is the very thing that sets you free.